On Wednesday, February 19th, while returning to my dorm, I found a strange scene. There were 7 police cars and 2 news stations outside. Upon further investigation, I found out that a piece of plywood had been blown off the roof of a neighboring construction site and hit a worker in the head. Soon after, this worker died from his injury. This construction site is one of 7 sites on the University of Kentucky's campus alone. Campus is not the only part of Lexington that is rapidly changing. Construction sites now plague what was once a beautiful college town. There is always a reminder of construction wherever you go in Lexington. The massive amount of renovation and construction projects being done to and around Lexington is more destructive than beneficial. The people of Lexington fund most of these projects. Serious consideration of the pros and cons is no longer happening, and the environment is suffering from these undertakings. During the time I take to talk to you, billions of dollars will be spent to change Lexington's skyline. While some money is coming from loans that worsen the state debt and destroying Lexington's credit, other money is coming from the people. The funding for the renovation at Commonwealth Stadium is coming from loans, grants, and tuition money. A WHAS 11 article written by Arnold Joe explains how tuition at the University of Kentucky is to be raised by 3% in order to cover the renovation's excess cost. More times than not, the state will simply raise taxes on permanent Lexington residences to pay for these expenses. The people of Lexington and all around the state are not happy with how their money is being spent. An article by journalist Jack Brammer from the Herald Leader recently arose that pointed out where the initial funding for the Rupp Arena renovation came from: coal severance taxes. These taxes are intended for emergency situations, educational programs, and senior centers. Many people, especially those from eastern Kentucky, were enraged by this use of taxes. The building of another mall in Lexington also has citizens mad. An article by Scott Sloan, again from the Herald Leader, explains how there is to be another mall built on Nicholasville Road. This mall will be built on a once family-owned nursery that neighbors hate to see industrialized. Government officials, I recommend you start listening to how the people of Lexington truly want their money to be spent. If not, there is a risk of residences and students leaving the city and taking their money with them. With any project, a close examination of the pros and cons is required. However, with Lexington changing at such a rapid pace, this vital step seems to be overlooked more often than not. The destruction of the historic districts in Lexington is a large concern for many residences. A popular rating site, TripAdvisor, recently had a review of a historic Lexington hotel, the Grotz Park Inn. The review stated that because of the construction being done to and around the building, the stay was unenjoyable. A series of articles published by the Herald Leader's editor, Tom Eblin, explains how 14 historic landmarks were knocked down to have the monstrosity known as Centerpoint be built. Mr. Eblin, a Lexington resident, explains how sometimes the new, modern architecture can never replace the old and historic buildings with history. Some renovations and construction projects, such as the renovation of Commonwealth and the new mall, are not necessary, and the money could be put to good use elsewhere. The National Park Service explains that while some historic sites are receiving too much attention, other sites are falling victim to the bulldozer because there is a lack of funding put towards these sites. Family-owned hotels and businesses are another area of economics that is being overlooked and slowly demolished. Many family-owned hotels are in dire need of renovation but cannot find the funding for this because larger corporations such as Centerpoint are taking over the hotel industry and thus destroying the family-owned nature of Lexington. The terms green and eco-friendly are heard or seen on almost a daily basis in our country. However, few contractors and builders strive to reach the certain standards set for these words, and the environment is paying for it. Minor changes can be made to make a building more eco-friendly. For example, the new dorms being built on UK's campus all have climate control powered by geothermal energy. Transylvania University's website explains how in 2008 they took the challenge to go green. They have recently completed a Gold Star energy efficient dorm, recycling bins have been placed into every room, and they have created their own garden to sustain the student body. A prime example of an eco-friendly building is the Ross Tarrant Architectural Building. An article featuring the Ross Tarrant Building in the Herald Leader explains that despite a pristine, working example of an eco-friendly building, builders do not want to buy eco-friendly products. Because contractors are not considering making these small changes, Lexington's carbon footprint is growing rapidly, which in effect can cause global environmental problems and can cause fines to be put on the city, again raising taxes for residences. The overabundance of projects happening in Lexington is damaging the city rather than helping it. While cities need upkeeping, there is never a time when a city needs so much maintenance at one time that it harms the city in the process. It is important to find a point where Lexington has a reasonable amount of undertakings in progress at one time. These undertakings should help the city of Lexington, not destroy it. In regards to the city changing, the Herald Leader's editor Tom Eblin said, "Some growth is good, some growth is cancer." Lexington is to the point where its growth is cancer and destroying a once beautiful, healthy city. To government officials, I urge you to seriously consider the validity of the renovations you are presented with. Require your builders to use eco-friendly products, and genuinely reconsider where you plan to get funding for these projects. Even what seem to be the smallest decisions can end up making a world of a difference.